Start off with today we were talking about sponsored products. If there's anything else, I'm happy to take questions at the end of the session. But how we're going to look through this is a number of ways. Okay, today we'll talk about sponsored products. So out of this, you will be able to we'll focus on 5 key buckets. We will mention what is sponsored products, assuming some of you have used it. I'll enable you to define your goals and then how you'll actually audit your page. And then we'll do a planning and campaign creation, an actual campaign. We'll do a test campaign and then we'll close. Okay? That is how we're going to go through this. It should not take us that long. We'll spend more time on the actual action of creating a campaign and less on the presentation piece. Okay? If you have any questions, just post them onto the platform. I might pass through some, but I'll definitely come back because I'm not able to see it when I'm presenting. I will come back to your questions and take them as we go along. Okay? Okay. So as we start, what is sponsored products are? Okay? This is as any person who has sold a product online or offline. We live and die by visibility. We can have the best product, but if people do not know about it, there's a very minimal chance that we'll be able to make a sale, and that is mostly the objective that we try. So, sponsored product simply allows you to promote your brand in the relevant pages. So, relevant pages is what does that mean intrinsically? If you sell electronics, your ads will show under electronics. So it's a bit different from an actual retail supermarket in this particular way. If you go into a Carrefour and you see a gondola, those things that are put at the major supermarkets, so that you see it in Naivas, Carrefour. If you've done any offline shopping, you'll see like Unga. It doesn't matter. It will be jumbled up with cooking oil, sometimes milk, sometimes beauty items. It is not uniform, and sometimes you'll even find wet wipes. But for sponsored products, it's super targeted in that if you're looking for a gondola for Unga, you will find it within the grocery section only, and not downstairs maybe with diapers next to it. This is purely and relevant to that particular category and also the customers that are looking for it. Okay? The key objective and what this helps you with is to more or less stand out from your own competition and also get to display your product at the right time based on a consumer journey. So as we go along, I'll show you on the planning on how you actually know which type of keywords you can actually work with. Key things is that sponsored products are native. So on the website, they look like any other product. The only difference will be that it will be listed as sponsored. I'll show you on the website when we're doing the campaign planning. Okay? So the key thing is, how do you define your goals? And as I stated at the start, we all want to make a sale and make some revenue at the end of it. That's the most important thing. And we also want to be paid on time on Jumia if you are selling online. And this is not purely limited to online. So the key things is, one, you want to drive sales of a new product or an existing product or a product that is running in terms of EOL. Number 2, you want to generate reviews for that particular SKU, because at the end of the day, it is a SKU that drives your sales. Thirdly, you can also use sponsored products to improve sales on low-performing SKUs or clear inventory, which touches on EOL that I was talking about. And then number 2, it touches on brand awareness. So for guys bringing in their products, and they have more or less branded them first party. So what do I mean by first party? If you walk into a Carrefour or previously in Nakumat, you found something called Blue Label. Blue Label, to increase awareness, they had to put it in specific spots in the supermarket, and it's the same thing. So sponsored products also allows you to put it into the relevant category pages and increase and make you stand out from your own competition. Okay? Any questions? Okay, I hope it's clear up to that particular point. Those are more or less the goals. In terms of auditing your pages, because we online, the person doesn't have access to the physical product when they make a purchase. So there are key things that you do have, as a seller, you have to do. Very important. Number one, how you present your products on the website is super important. And then Jumia also talks about seller operations. So right now, because we work on something called learning to rank, which is LTR, it captures a number of things. LTR captures your quality score, delivery rate, and then what's the third thing? The reviews and the ratings that you have on those particular products. Very, very important. So yes, sponsored products goes against the LTR in the sense that it will boost the product given that you are paying for the service. However, if you do not have one high quality image, you do not have descriptive titles, and you do not have relevant, useful product information. So it is a 43-inch TV, or it is a double-door fridge. You just say a fridge. It is not descriptive. Customers will not be able to know what they're actually buying from you. So content is super important, particularly with LTR, because it's an algo picking out based on the clicks that your product gets. And your product will get clicked because it has accurate descriptive titles, you have high quality images, and the content is relevant and useful from a product standpoint. Okay? Super important. Okay? With that, I will switch my screens to walk you through an actual campaign and how we create it. Are there any questions up to this point? I'm happy to pause to take any questions before I move into an actual. How do you create a campaign? How do you plan for that particular campaign? Are there any questions? I might be moving a bit too fast, but are there any questions? It's clear up to that point.
Frank, there was a question by Diana.
Yeah.
What do you mean by relevant and targeted customers?
Oh, okay. So I will show you what I mean by relevant. Okay, good question. I'll show you on the campaign planning. Anything else? Oh, the costs. You will like that. My colleague will like that. Okay. So in terms of relevant, Trufena, just repeat the question again.
So Diana is asking, what do you mean by relevant and targeted customers?
Relevant and targeted customers. Okay, so it's twofold from a website standpoint. Let me just walk you through it. Number one, very good question. So when relevant and targeted customers is purely predicated upon the things that you sell. So how do I explain that? For example, if you sell an electronics, you always want to, from an impression, so the people that view the particular SKU to be the ones that are actually looking for a fridge. You do not want somebody, quote unquote, looking to buy Unga and find your product listed under Unga. What do I mean? Let me go to an actual product. So if you look at the website, this is more or less the main page, and I'm just looking at home and office, which I'm more or less conversant with. I'm not going to talk about products that I don't know. So you find duvet is purely under home and kitchen products. It's a home product. I don't find it where in a category such as groceries or probably electronics, because it's a duvet. So it's a home product. You will find that you'll find the specific SKU that is sponsored on that particular. And I told you these things are native, so they will be on the relevant category pages, and only customers who are looking for products within that category will see your sponsored ad. Okay? And you'll always see them, they alternate. So there's one here, there's another one here. Like this is actually an error, but you can see it's an egg storage container, a home product. So relevant, not relevant. What did you say? Dana? Egg storage container, relevant or not relevant? That's the example.
Not relevant.
Not relevant. So how comes it appears on that particular page? Where it's live, I did not see it, but how comes do you think it appears there?
Maybe the vendor based it on a different category that's not supposed to be there.
So it is actually relevant because it's not eggs, but an egg storage.
Oh,
Yes. Not a trick question, by the way. Don't worry, it's not a trick question. So if you look at it, it's home and kitchen and dining, storage, organization. So categorization is usually very key, particularly when you look at your products. But because it's a home product and it helps you store eggs, it will be under storage and organization, oddly enough.
okay.
Yeah. So it will appear under home, which is the category. Yeah. I hope that makes sense, but that is a sponsored product. Okay. I hope that answers your question or not. I'm happy to take it up again.
It does.
It does. Okay. So we'll switch screen, but this is how sponsored products, they are native and they will be as similar to any products on the website. The only difference is that you will see the tag sponsored, advertising sold by merchants on Jumia with a clear definition. So let's go to an actual sponsored product and see how we can be able to create a campaign. So number one, as a Jumia seller, we do have access to one of the best things in terms of, from a category standpoint. It's called search terms. This is usually as part of the package that during certain tier 1 events we do give it for free, but there is usually a cost to it for the key accounts at least. But I'm not going to highlight that. So for you guys, provided you attend the session and you actually engage, I will give you 10 keywords for free over the duration for Black Friday. So what we do is very straightforward. If you look at the tab that I'm currently sharing, I will switch up and show you this. This shows you on homepage, app, mobile, and web, what customers are looking for and how they type in those searches. This is over a 3-day period. This data was updated at 10:33 today, which is on the 3rd of November, and you can actually be able to see on average what they look at and how they type those particular things. So again, this is I want us to engage. I want you guys to tell me what you think. You will see top search term, and you can actually, it's broken down based on category, but I'll just start with the homepage because that gives you the general view of what customers are looking for. Top 20, Samsung smartphones had about 6,367 searches over the last 3 days. So that's about 2K searches a day. Smart TVs, that's how we write it. Galaxy, Techno Camon 7, wireless Bluetooth earphone, Infinix mobile phones, laptops. It's mostly electronics, but you can actually be able to see that there's some other things that are really picking up. So there's the HP laptop, there's a home theater system, there's a fridge, which had about 2,000 searches across board. So this is super important whenever you're creating any campaign because, as I said, you want relevant customers, to Diana's question, looking at your products, and it's based on what they search for. So what they search for also has to tie into the product that you sell. You don't want customers searching unga coming to look for a duvet which you sell, or a phone and looking for maybe unga or a cooker. You want them only customers based on impressions, and I'll walk you through when we are creating the campaign so that you see how it actually filters through. But does that make sense up to that point? So for this, I will offer you guys 10 keywords overall, and I'll share this with Christine. You guys can actually be able to use it to create your own campaigns. Okay?
Franklin, I have a question.
Ask away.
Okay, so this data, do you customize it to a seller? Because,
Yes.
for instance, I don't deal with phones, so it won't be of help to me.
Well, so Diana, what do you do? What do you sell? What do you sell? Let's start with that.
Security systems.
Security systems, such as Interesting. Give me
CCTV, access
one of your
control.
keys. So electronics probably will tie to you. Okay. Let's see. Security system should be under electronics if I'm not wrong. Interesting. So if I look at it, very low searches, but I can't be able to see it. Then let me check on my categorization because I've not dealt with security systems, and then I'll be able to give you feedback. CCTV cameras. It's under electronics. So CCTV cameras had about 41 searches over the last 3 days. Unique searches, unique identifiers. That's number one. It should be under electronics. Yeah. Computer, that's electric, but it's very minimal. I'd like to see some of your products and links. You can post it on the site, and then I'll see your keywords, which category it falls under. Any other person? So what we'll do, I can offer the overarching, and then you pick based on what is relevant to you. But these are searches over the last 3 days, and as you're aware, we've been teasing for Black Friday, so it actually helps for you to know this because it will all tie back when we are creating the campaign on why this is super important and super important data for you to have. Okay? Questions? Okay.
Or just to make it easy, I share the link to my shop.
One link to your shop, okay. Yeah, that would be easier. Okay?
Okay.
Thanks, Diana.
Okay, sure.
Okay. So this is your golden goose because it is, think about it this way. Let me use an actual example. I'm assuming all of us have gotten into a supermarket. You walk into a supermarket, what you see is a gondola. Gondola is smack in the middle of the entrance, and Carrefour really does it well. However, think about this. When you walk into Carrefour, for example, Sarit, I don't know which Carrefours you've used, you will see on the left it's electronics, and then on the right there's some washing detergent. In the center, you'll find maybe a washing machine, you'll find a fridge, sometimes you'll find a bed, sometimes you'll find, but it's not necessarily relevant to you because as a consumer, maybe you're coming in to pick groceries, purely groceries. You're not worried about a bed or anything like that. But now think about a gondola, but within that particular category. So if you're coming in to look for groceries, you see milk, or you're coming in to look for rice, you actually find rice in the middle of the shop. Now that is sponsored products, but it's purely relevant to that particular consumer, and it's not broad in terms of everybody will see it. That's not the important thing, because at the end of the day, there's an actual charge per impressions. For every 1,000 impressions, Jumia charges you based on that. So think about it. Everybody that sees a gondola as the seller or the consumer of the service, because you own the gondola, you will pay both for people that are relevant to you or not whenever they look at it. Okay? Marvel, yes, I will share 10 keywords per category, the top keywords per category after the session. Okay? Cool. Let's go to an actual planning and doing the actual action of creating a campaign. Share this tab. Okay. So I will start off by Seller Center because this is my own tab to give you a bit of context. This is Seller Center for Somotex. You'll be able to see it. So under Seller Center, I hope you're able to see my screen. If you're not, just flag it. This is actual Seller Center. I've just picked a random seller that I do manage and the page was open. I go to promotions. Promotions under sponsored products. Okay? And under sponsored products, you can actually be able to see. Boost your visibility. It's pretty neat nowadays, which I like. So more visibility equals more sales. You'll be able to see it. And then you go click on boost your visibility. All sellers have this. For us, you're actually leaving Seller Center to show you because you're going into Mobile. Mobile is simply the sponsored products platform that we have. So this is the dashboard that you will see. Okay? This is the dashboard that you will see. It will show you, this shows you the last 7 days. Have you spent any money? Blah, 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 blah. You'll be able to see that. So the key thing is you go under campaigns. For this particular seller, you'll be able to notice that he does appliances and it's brown. It's blank for a particular reason because I don't want to show too much information. You'll notice a number of things, automatic and manual by keyword. I'll explain in terms of the bidding strategy. keywords, sales, and how much you spend. When you go into new campaign, we'll do a simple test. So say November campaign. You can name it as you want to. So like Black Friday, BF, that's how we call Black Friday, November 2021. Sponsored products, start date immediately, or you can put a specific date. When do I stop it? You can also specify. Okay, I'll always leave when I stop it. Budget is super important. So what we know on average is usually $5 per 1,000 impressions, correct? Or it may be more right now. I don't know. It depends. So budget, you can either put daily or you put total. My recommendation is always to go not daily but total. You put a total and then I'll show you how you set the daily pacing. So in this particular case, we will use 1,000, but that is too small. We'll use that as our budget. Okay? So that we do not do a... And then in terms of bidding, there are two ways. There's automatic bidding, which means anybody, based on the impressions and based on the category, anybody can see it. My recommendation is always go to the manual bid, and this is why. I'll explain why. The key thing is you want to get the right impressions for any sponsored products, because that then improves your overall ROI, return on investment. So manual bid is super important. It will show you the minimum amount is 100 per CPM. For CPM simply means cost per 1,000 impressions. Okay? You can bid from a low of $1, so 100 bob, assuming that is the rounded figure, or you can bid up to about even 1,000 if you want. The average cost per 1,000 will oscillate from 250 shillings to 350. Some guys who have money, and based on keywords, you can bid higher based on those particular keywords, but the average is about 250. Okay, so I'll pick the average, 250. And then, this is super important. There's a bid type. You can either bid for products or bid for keywords. Products is a bit dicey. Why? Number one is most of LT sellers compete with actual brands in terms of sales. So that the brand will always get quote unquote a priority given their official store, they have ratings and reviews, they have their products on Jumia Express, which also helps. And then over and above that, they have a good quality score. Okay? So suggestion is always bid for keywords, but that requires you to know what ties back to the last thing that I was saying. You bid for keywords, and then you click on next. Oh, wow, bid is out. So 250, and then you bid for keywords. This is particular Bram. Budget is not picking, so let's just pick total 1,000. Okay, and then you click on next. When you click on next, you'll be able to see all your products, whatever you sell on your shop and what you're pushing. So this depends. You remember when I mentioned the three key things. You are either having new products that you want to promote or products that are low selling that you want to promote, or products that are just regular that you want to push. You can search by title or SKU. Title is usually better because you know your products and you can be able to pick them up. This arrow simply drags them across. By clicking, the products will drag across. Like I know Bram is pushing a lot of water dispensers. They're pushing this single door fridge. They're pushing auto normal water dispenser. That's what they're pushing. There's also cookers, there's fridges, there's the 2-gas burner, stuff like that. You simply click and move them. On average, it's recommended that you promote up to about 20 products, and you can split them the way you want. That's the bare minimum. Anything less doesn't give you that much visibility, but 20 products is fairly sufficient because that's in terms of the SKUs that you need to have. And then where the rubber meets the road is here, keywords. So remember when I was talking about keywords on the other side. So for Bram, it's pretty straightforward. If you already have the keywords on a separate tab, you simply come to the category keywords. Let me show you. Bram is under home and office, and you'll be able to see the top the top search products, I'm switching my screen right now, is gas cooker with oven, microwave, fridges, 2 gas burner, fridge, house carpet that is not relevant, smart TV is not relevant. Oh, you can't see my screen. Can you see it? I'm breaking. Sorry. The internet is fluctuating quite a bit. So you'll be able to see this. These are the products that we have. And this is what customers are searching for. And this is how they're typing it on the search bar. Okay? What is a search bar? Let me not make an assumption that you know what a search bar is. I'm fluctuating still. Can you guys hear me? Sorry, I feel like I'm speaking to myself, but I hope you guys are following through, and I'll be able to take questions in between and through the event. This is a search bar. Let me not make an assumption that you guys know what it is. This is a search bar, so they will type in gas cooker with oven. You guys see? Are you guys able to hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Okay. It's something wrong with me. I have somebody next to me who is guiding me on whether I'm missing something. Yeah. So you'll be able to see, for example, Nunex has a 4 gas burner, and it will appear in terms of whenever a customer searches, your product will appear based on your bid and your bid amount on this particular tab. And then the next closest bid will appear around here. Where is it? Still loading. But gas cooker with oven, that's what you get when you search. Come on. So you see sponsored, that's the product that is currently sponsored. Nunix 4 gas burner, tabletop with cooker. You can even know who the seller is. DM Electronics. Oh, nice. Okay. So I was showing you the category pages. I think you have an issue with this side. So we were on keywords. For microwaves, I'm just picking, you don't need more than 10 keywords on average to actually be able to drive your performance. So immediately you paste them on the keywords tab, they will appear below. Share this tab instead. Let me just redo that again. Simply have those keywords, gas cooker with oven, fridge, microwaves, as customers type them in. From that, you can either load suggested keywords, depending on what you want, and it will show you, just give it a minute, it will show you what guys are looking for, and you can be able to filter. So this is why I don't do automatic. So you see, if you see most of it is almost in a different language, salt and water purifier, but those are not the things that you need. They are not relevant to the consumers, and it's equivalent of putting a gondola in front of Carrefour for a cooker, and customers are looking for oil, cooking oil or rice. So this, I'm looking for a fridge. Customers looking for a fridge or a gas cooker will see your ad. It's very targeted and very specific. So in a nutshell, gas cooker with ovens, fridges, microwave. And you simply click on create campaign after that. So it will show you it's live. This is what you'll be able to see. So these are the products that I selected. And if you go to keywords, it'll be able to show you a number of things. Those are the products that we selected. Let it open. Oh. Okay. So to show you the type of phrase, competition, to stand out from the competition, and what is your cost per 1,000 impressions? How much do they charge you for 1,000 eyeballs? Okay? This. So let's start. What is an impression? An impression, not to define it, but to show. So let's go back. What is an impression? We are just going from the top so that I don't make an assumption. Okay, so you have a product. We were looking at home and office, and then the customer comes. This is the customer journey. The customer is looking for an actual product. Give me a minute. Why is it loading too much? Give me a minute. Customer searches gas cooker with oven. types it in, it pops up. That's, come on. Is it still loading on the side? Internet is fluctuating left, right, and center. I don't know why. I hope you guys can still hear me. If you can, say yes. If you can't, please just prompt me as no. Perfect. The internet is fluctuating heavily. Oh, okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
So gas cooker with oven, you can hear me. Connection is gone. Okay. And okay, gas cooker with oven. I need to show you what an impression is. Gas cooker with oven, so that I don't make an assumption that you cooker with oven. Where is internet when you need it? Okay. So it's still loading. It's coming up. So you will see here now, oddly enough, this guy is also using the same keyword. Aluminium pressure cooker, explosion proof, 9 liters. This is an impression. I've not done anything. Just viewing that product as a customer. So Nunix for gas cooker, that is an impression. That is counted as an impression. So like for Nunix, because it's using that particular keyword, and I think it's automatic, it will just pick anything because that's how you burn money. But that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to get a return on investment for every single shilling that we invest. Hence the notion of keywords. So whoever is running this ad, this is an impression. If I do this, that is a click, meaning I open the product page. Amsterdam 2. He has a poor fulfillment rate, poor quality score, and a good customer rating. So these are what you live and die by online. So this is a click. Let me go back to the dashboard so that you guys see this. So impressions, you want to receive relevant and targeted impressions, which are relevant to the product that you sell. What do I mean? You only want the people looking for a gas cooker with oven to be the ones to see your ad. You do not want somebody other than that particular person coming to look for. Again, I'm belaboring this because we have been listening to Unga and Rice for a while. Unga and Rice to come and look at your ad because you are charged per 1,000 impressions. So what do they mean by this keyword? So for every 1,000 impressions, Jumia is going to charge you 250 shillings. So 1,000 eyeballs. Okay? So you want to only get relevant eyeballs to your specific SKUs. If you get relevant eyeballs, it will then translate to clicks. And CTR is simply a ratio of clicks as a subset of impressions. I am trying to see whether I can get an actual dash or an actual campaign so that you see what I mean. Give me a minute. A previous campaign that we ran. Let's see whether this is okay. Last 30 days. It will show you this. So for 2,000, I'm trying to check whether this was a manual campaign. Let me just check because I'm talking about manual campaigns. Manual campaigns by keywords. Campaigns. Give me a minute. Oh, run festival campaign. So it will show you this. This is what you're able to see last 30 days. So it will show you he got about 91,000 impressions. But out of that 91,000 impressions, only 1,600 were actual clicks. So 1,600 as a ratio of 91K will give you about 1.8%. If you just check those numbers divided by each other, you'll be able to get it. Conversion simply means an actual purchase took place, meaning a customer went and bought the product. Okay? And conversion rate is simply as a subset of clicks to conversion. It's a ratio. The higher, the better. Clicks, the same thing. The higher your click-through rate, meaning CTR, the better. But impressions don't necessarily matter. So look at this. This was an automatic campaign. Yes, they were able to make a bit of money because of the duration and when they ran. They spent about 9K to generate $500,000 in sales, give or take. Let's see on this other side for a manual campaign in terms of, let me just switch this off. Manual by keyword. We ran one August campaign, give or take. For 2,000 impressions only, they were able to get 58 clicks. CTR is above 2%. Conversion rate is low, but CTR is much better. So they only spent 728 shillings to generate 5K. But something is wrong with this data. Something is wrong with the data, but yeah, you can get the gist. The core is getting the right impressions, which then lead to the correct clicks, which then leads to a higher conversion rate. Okay? So from a keyword standpoint, what we were talking about, assuming the products that were listed, you'll be able to see 2-gas burner, which was the product, actually had, cost per thousand was this. They got about 454 impressions. The clicks were 3, conversion was 1. So you can be able to manipulate this based on how you can be able to manipulate this based on what converts and what doesn't convert. So let's use the cooker, for example. Cooker was a phrase that was selected. It had 1,200 impressions, 31 clicks, but 0 conversions. I would want one of you to actually walk me through. What would you do in this particular thing? There's no right or wrong answer. We are looking at it. What would that tell you about that particular keyword? And what would you do to reject or to make it convert? Because that's the end goal. We are trying to make a sale. Anybody on the call? Take it away. It's not a trick question. This is a practical question, by the way. Go ahead. Go ahead. It's a practical
For
question.
me, I think
Diana.
cooker. Hello.
Thank you, Diana. Go ahead.
Okay, for me, I think cooker, it's kind of limited to the
Kinda limited.
customer. So when you add something like 2-burner gas cooker, it will reach more people.
Which is super descriptive.
Yeah.
Which is super descriptive. That is, but if I may ask you, what would you do with such a keyword? What would you do as the person spending money and we are looking for ROI? What would you do? What does that tell you about that particular product that you're sponsoring or the keyword that you're using?
I didn't get your question.
What would that tell you? So there's actual money on the line because you've done 1,000 impressions. So meaning you spent 250 on that particular keyword. Let me just drag it across if I'm able to drag it and get spent so that you see what I'm talking about. So there is an actual spend for every keyword. For every keyword that you use, there's an actual spend or a cost that is attached to it. So I've just added the cost. Okay? So it will show you, if you're looking at my screen, you'll be able to see for these 1,200 impressions, you incurred a cost as a seller because you're the investor and you're investing in your products, incurred a cost of 315 shillings. Okay? You can see it, cost.
Yeah.
How do I add it? I simply went here and simply picked selected cost. It was missing from there. So that's the actual cost. Actual cost, meaning it's money spent, but you have not sold anything. So what would you do to this particular keyword as the person putting the money on the line? You are the investor, you have put your money on the line to try and make a sale. What would you do?
You change.
You change. How? By doing what? You change, yes, but by doing what? There are a number of things that you can do. It's not a trick question. Diana, go ahead. You change.
Yeah, you change the keyword.
You change the keyword. So does that mean you switch it off? Does that mean you remove it? Does that mean what does it mean, change? Change is a broad word. Specific. I want a specific answer. There is no right, there are many answers.
You can't edit and put another keyword.
You can switch it off, number one, so change. That is a specific ask, so you just switch it off. So meaning it doesn't bill. Okay? Or number two, now let me give you the answer. You can reduce your bid size. You simply come, click on the amount, because you can actually reduce your bid size to maybe 100 bob. Because it's not converting, though it's high, and you have bidded high, and it's not converting, you can reduce your bid size. Because what they do is every single time you have up more than 1,000 impressions, you incur a cost. So 250. It will be charged based on the impressions. You can reduce your bid, or you can switch off the keyword, or you can check your content on that particular product, or you can check your price. There are a number of things. Or is it on, is it off? There are a number of things that you can do, but those are some of them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It is not limited. It doesn't limit you because it's a manual bid as opposed to an automatic bid. So what I'm getting at, what's my point? My point is pretty simple. You spend actual money for every impression, 1,000 impressions that you get. This. Okay? For every 1,000 impressions that you get, there's money, actual money. So it needs to have a return on investment and needs to generate value for you as a business person, correct? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the notion is not just to leave the phrases to their own bidding. You can control how much you spend so that you gain the most value. So like, for example, the 2 gas burner with a cooker. It's high. You got 452 impressions, 3 clicks, you get a single conversion. So out of this, you spent 113 shillings to generate 5K. Good investment, bad investment. Diana, what would you say? You spent 100 bob, that's the cost. You spent 113 shillings to generate 5,400. I know I'm getting a bit technical, but yes, you're in business and you have to make money. Sorry, I'm not gonna go this deep. I'm just gonna revert back because I need you guys to understand the keyword section. So tell me.
It's not bad.
So the question is this: your cost, because it's per impressions, which is 452 impressions. You spent 113 shillings spend because this was deducted from you to generate a sale of 5,490. Good or bad investment?
It's a good one.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
So that is how you look at it. So the same thing, it's a good investment. So meaning that keyword, you can actually even increase your cost per. Because what simply means, there's this word called ACOS. It's simply a cost to income. So for every 2 shilling that you spent, you generated 100 bob of revenue. That is what it means, the 2.1%. Make sense? For every 2 shillings that you spent, you generated 100 shillings. It's simply a ratio of cost to sales. Make sense? Questions? I'm going to pause there so that I let you guys digest that.
Question.
Question?
I would like to concerning the
Hi,
keywords.
parents.
Hi.
You keeping well?
Yes, I'm keeping well. Concerning the keywords,
Yes.
from your explanation, it sounds like they are what determine whether or not you're going to get your ROI or your return on investment back. So then does that mean if I don't have the keywords for that specific category, then I won't be able to proceed? Or is there a way I can access the keywords for a specific category?
So it's twofold. Yes, there's an automatic play that anybody can do that is not restrictive. But this touches on, so what I'm really trying to, what is my point? I'm trying to get at the importance. Can somebody mute themselves? Yeah. Sorry, I was hearing myself speak. So the key thing is this: we are all in business and we are not doing charity. Okay? And for every dollar that you spend, you want to see a clear ROI. True or not true? Yes?
True.
So yes, there's an automatic mode which you simply check, and that is fine. You can do the automatic mode. However, you also on the automatic mode, you need to then check that you are getting an appropriate ROI for every investment that you're making. And my goal is this. At the end of the day, it is not just sponsored products for sponsored products basis. It is sponsored products to actually give you an actual ROI. You remove the guesswork out of it, and you figure out the keywords. Then the good thing about these keywords is this. Over a 180, 190 to a 180 day period, you will know the keywords that work for your brand. Because what it does is you are repeating a process that's scaled over time. For now, as I told you guys, I'm going to be generous and give you 10 keywords per category at no cost to you.
Okay.
Because the goal is for all of us to win and for customers to always get a sponsored product, the relevant thing. My ask is pretty simple because it's not free after all by them. My ask is pretty simple. Utilize the keywords, number one. Number two, make sure your content, you have high-res content. There are a number of things that I highlighted before. You have accurate descriptive titles, you have high-quality images, and you have relevant product information. And don't sell non-legit stuff because it beats logic to get the right customer, and then the customer experience is destroyed because you either sold an non-legit product, you did not deliver your product. So at the end of the day, a lot of things have to go right. And for us, as a Black Friday gift, because it's Black Friday and it's November, and Tufena told me that I needed to be a bit generous, I'm going to give you 10 keywords per category. Pick and choose what works for you. Okay? No cost to you. But going forward, now you'll reach out to Tufena and team and actually request for these keywords. It's part of the data that they usually tell you to buy. And what you need is to be consistent over a 90 to 180 day period to then figure out the keywords that you will make you successful. Okay?
Okay, yeah, that's understood.
Yeah. So again, ROI. We're none of us are in charity, and I need to give you value for money. So this is the best route. It removes the guesswork out of it. There is the automatic push. That is fine if you just want to do it and leave your destiny to somebody else. But I always push that if you can go the keyword route, it doesn't cost you anything.
Okay, maybe one last question I could ask.
Ask away.
There are different packages for the sponsored products. So there's, I think, okay, when you're doing under professional account, I know it's different, but the basic standard packages, there's the basic one for, I think, 3K, then there's one for 10K, then there's one for more. So my question is, what benefit between 3K or 10K, what exactly is my deciding factor so that I know which package I'm using for sponsored products? Am I going to spend the full 10K and not convert, or should I spend the 3K and get an ROI?
So I'll play back that question to you and ask you, at the end of the day, as a business person, for every dollar that you invest in your company, what is the most important thing for you?
The return on the investment.
That's your answer. So at the end of the day, if I'm going to lay out 3K in investment, and I'm saying the cost to income ratio for this particular keyword, 3K investment, and I have an cost of about 2%, how much do I need to generate to justify the 3K investment? We're all in business.
Again?
So I mentioned something, the 2 gas banner is simply means for every 2 shillings that you invest, you generate 100 shillings of revenue. Okay? That's what I meant. Okay? You spent 113 shillings to generate 5,490. So this, you want to spend 3K. How much sales would you need to generate to justify investing the 3K? Assuming a cost of about 2%. How much?
I don't think I'm getting.
Oh, you're not getting the question. So sorry, I'm just working. We started with ROI, and I'm tying back into what I mentioned initially. So number one, when I said the cost here was 113 to generate 5K. The ratio is 2.1. Now you want to use 3K at a cost of about 2.1. How much will you be able to generate? Give or take.
150,000.
Grace, how much?
150,000.
But they see me after, and I'll give you a pen. Well done. Yeah, that is how much you need to generate as a business person. Thank you, Grace. Superb answer. Very brilliant, brilliant. Do you want to guide them on how you worked out the math? It's basic math. Grace, do you want to guide them on how you you worked out the math?
You multiply.
You multiply. It's a basic math. What do you multiply by what? Give them the secret so that they know. It's ROI at the end of the day.
100 divided by 2 and then times the 50.
Sorry, 100 divided by?
100 divided by 2,
Yes.
then you times by the 5,400.
Amen.
The 3,000, sorry.
3,000. Correct. That is it. Paris, does it make sense now?
Yes, it makes sense.
So ROI is super important because you always match it based on how much does it cost you to generate 100 shillings, and it's here. So the lower the number, the better. The higher the number, the worse it is. So you want that number to be as low as possible.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I don't follow. Okay, sorry. Okay, so that is sponsored products in a nutshell. Because to recap, sponsored products allows you to stand out from the competition. That's number one. Number two, that's super important. You need to define your goals and be very clear on what you want to drive. Are you driving the sales of a new product? Are you trying to generate reviews, or are you trying to optimize a low performing SKU to clear inventory? Very important. Number three, ensure from a SKU level, you have accurate descriptive titles, you have high quality images, very important. And then finally, useful product information. I cannot belabor that point as much as possible. Again, take advantage of the keywords that I've given to you, maximize your performance, and always, 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 at the back of your mind, focus on ROI. I'm done. You guys have been a very good group. If you have any questions, I'm happy to address them. That is me, and I will stop speaking from there.
Where are you sharing the keyword list?